Have you ever wondered how to install multiple operating systems sa isang computer? Sa video na to, tuturuan kita how to create a multi-boot system. In a previous video, napag-usapan na natin how to configure a virtual machine effectively installing a second operating system sa ating existing computer. It may be a convenient way to install and test operating systems and applications, pero it has its limitations. For virtual machines to work, since ito ay isang software-based na solution, it needs a host operating system at kinakailangan din ito makashare sa mga resources ng ating computer such as yung processing power ng ating CPU at ang ating RAM. So para sa mga computers na medyo merong mabababang mga specifications, you may experience slowdowns o kaya nagahang ang iyong computer when using virtual machine. So for today, mag-i-install tayo ng second operating system sa ating computer and we're going to configure it for multi-boot para whichever operating system ang ginagamit natin, it would have full access to all the resources that it needs. And with that out of the way, let's start the tutorial. So what we're going to do today is we're going to attempt to install a second operating system on top of our Windows installation, and our operating system of choice is Linux, more specifically Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a Linux distribution which is free to use and some people use this as an alternative sa Windows. So mayroong mga differences sila pagdating sa GUI and how we install applications. At the same time kung ano yung mga applications na available para gamitin sa Linux. But out of the different distributions na available, Ubuntu is one of the most popular at isa rin to sa mga pinakamadaling gamitin. So dito sa official na website ng Ubuntu, we're going to click download and then we're going to download yung Ubuntu desktop. So dito meron tayong dalawang variants ng Ubuntu, Ubuntu 20.04.3 LTS at Ubuntu 21.04. Ang pinagkaiba ng dalawa, yung Ubuntu LTS is going to be supported for 5 years, so until April 2025. Ito yung mas stable na release ng Ubuntu, while yung Ubuntu 21.04 is yung latest version but it's only supported for 9 months. So ang gagamitin natin ngayon para sa ating installation is yung Ubuntu 20 LTS. So from here, pwede mo nang i-click itong download button na ito for you to download Ubuntu directly, but I prefer to download Ubuntu and other distribution through torrent since hindi ganun ka-stable ang aming internet connection dito at kung sakasakali mapuputol yung aking download, I could continue it at a later time. So ang kiniklik ko dito is yung C Alternative Downloads, and dito sa page na to, I scroll down and then I select yung section for BitTorrent and I download Ubuntu 21.04 desktop 64-bit. So click natin siya. At kapag kinlik natin itong dinownload natin na file, if you have a torrent client installed, you could automatically download yung ating ISO file. And magmerenda na muna kayo since ito ay medyo matagal-tagal i-download. This would take up 2.62 gigabytes of space. Fast forward tayo after natin makomplete yung download process. Once natapos nyo nang i-download yung ISO file ng Ubuntu, you need to create installation media using your flash drive. Tulad ng na-cover na natin sa mga previous videos natin, you could use different methods on how to create your bootable flash drive. Maglalagay din ako ng card dito sa taas for creating your multi-boot USB flash drive using Ventoy. And once na natapos na yon, let's move on to our target computer. So before we start, we need to prepare our computer for our multi-boot configuration. So login muna tayo sa Windows and then let's right click sa start, go to disk management, and makikita nyo dito yung iba't ibang mga drives na meron kayo sa inyong computer. As you can see, isa lang yung aking hard drive na naka-install and this is disk 0. Meron akong tatlong partitions. The first one is yung aking EFI na partition which is 100 megabytes. Yung aking main na C drive which is 930.90 gigabytes at isang 500 megabyte na partition para naman sa ating recovery partition. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click sa ating C partition and then select shrink volume. Dito sa enter the amount of space to shrink in megabytes, let's set aside 30 gigabytes para sa ating second operating system. Click natin yung shrink. And then makikita nyo na meron tayong 30 gigabytes na partition which is unallocated, and let's leave that for now. Let's close disk management at i-shutdown natin ang ating computer. After that, i-plug in na natin ang ating bootable flash drive with Ubuntu installer and power on our computer. Press your boot key sa inyong computer para makapunta kayo sa BIOS, and then set your bootable flash drive as your primary boot priority. So what we use para sa ating bootable flash drive na method is yung Ventoy. So you could see dito yung iba't ibang mga operating systems at tools na ginagamit ko na nandito sa flash drive, and I'm going to select yung ISO for Ubuntu 20.04. So real quick, magpe-perform ito ng disk check just to see kung okay yung mga files na kinakailangan natin for our setup process. And once na natapos yun, mapupunta tayo ngayon dito sa install screen. So meron tayong dalawang choices. Kung gusto nyo munang itry yung Ubuntu without installing the operating system itself. But for this demonstration, let's click yung install Ubuntu button na nandito sa kanan. Select natin yung keyboard layout na gagamitin natin. In this case, this is English by default. So dito sa ating updates and other software section ng ating setup, we're going to select normal installation para kasama ng nai-install ang ating web browser, yung ating Office suite, at other productivity tools and other software that comes bundled in with Ubuntu by default. Sa other options naman, if your computer is connected to the internet, you could click yung download updates while installing Ubuntu para kompleto nyo nang makuha yung mga latest updates para sa inyong operating system. At siguraduhin natin na merong mark yung box para sa install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware and other additional media formats. Click natin yung continue. At pupunta tayo dito sa installation type. Out of the box, makikita ng ating Ubuntu installer na meron tayong naka-install na Windows operating system sa ating computer. And from here, pwede nyo nang i-click yung install now if you prepare. But for me, para mas mapadali yung mga troubleshooting process na ginagawa natin kung sakasakaling merong mga problema na mangyari sa ating installation ng Ubuntu at hindi maapektuhan basta-basta yung ating current na installation ng Windows, I prefer to do things a little differently. So what I do is, I select yung third option, yung something else. And from here, hanapin natin ngayon yung ginawa natin kanina na bagong partition using disk management ng Windows. At makikita nyo siya dito under the device listing as yung ating free space. So highlight natin ito and then click natin yung plus button. Dito naman mag-allocate tayo ng 25 GB para sa ating Ubuntu installation. Let's set this as a logical partition. At dito naman sa mount point, let's set it as our root directory. And ang susunod naman natin gagawin for the rest of our free space is we're going to create a swap area. So piliin natin ngayon yung ating free space and then set natin to as a logical partition. And under dito sa use as, piliin naman natin yung swap area. Last natin gagawin is we're going to select our device for bootloader installation. At para dito, ang i-select natin is yung 25 GB na partition na ginawa natin kanina. So after natin ma-configure yung mga settings natin, click natin yung install now. I-check natin yung mga partitions na nagawa natin. Click natin yung continue. Set natin yung ating time zone. Put in natin yung ating details as well as yung ating password. Click continue. And sit back and relax as we install Ubuntu sa ating computer. After installation, click natin yung restart now. At ipoprompt tayo ng setup na tanggalin yung ating bootable flash drive. After na makapag-reboot ng ating computer, makikita natin ngayon dito yung ating multi-bootloader. At dito natin gagawin yung pag-select sa operating system na gagamitin natin. And now you have a working Ubuntu installation sa iyong computer. Para naman makapag-boot sa Windows, just restart your computer. Select Windows Boot Manager dito sa ating multi-bootloader. And now, pwede na natin uling gamitin ang ating Windows Operating System installation. So those are the basics kung paano ka makakapag-install ng multiple na operating systems sa iyong computer using multi-boot. And you are not limited to just 2 operating systems. You could install as many operating systems as you want. It would only be limited by the size of your hard drive as well as the compatibility of the rest of your hardware, those operating system na gusto mong ilagay. And if you found this video useful, please click on the like button below, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell para lagi kang updated kung kailan tayo naglalabas ng ating mga bagong videos. At para sa susunod mong video, please click here sa card na nasa taas para sa ating Windows Sandbox tutorial at sa playlist naman dito sa baba para sa iba pang mga CSS videos. And I'll see you in the next one.